It was just announced the other day that Terence Crawford and Alexis Rocha has been mandated by the WBO. Coincidence, right? Well, I'm here to let y'all know why Terence Crawford and Alexis Rocha has been planned for a while now. But before we get into this next video, make sure that you hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already a sub to the channel. Now, all of a sudden the other day, Terence Crawford and Alexis Rocha was mandated by the WBO. Now, before that, all type of cap reports was coming out saying that Terence Crawford was still talking to the PBC, trying to negotiate an Errol Spence fight. That's interesting because the last time that I saw Terence Crawford, he was at Golden Boy headquarters trying to make a deal with Golden Boy. Before that, I saw Terence Crawford on Instagram talking about how Errol Spence wasn't his own boss and that he was his own boss. That he moves how he wants to move, he makes his own fights and does all of that. But we found out that to be a lie, because if you was your own boss, Terence Crawford, why were you at Golden Boy headquarters trying to make a fight with Alexis Rocha? Yeah, he was trying to make a fight with Alexis Rocha before they mandated anything. Matter of fact, he was trying to get a deal done to get Golden Boy to promote his next 3 fights. Yeah, Golden Boy as his promoter. Don't sound like a boss to me, because a real boss don't have to go get another boss to boss him. Now, we know that boxing don't always follow the rules. Boxing hardly ever follows the rules. Matter of fact, boxing is about money. It's about dirty business and money. It's about these promoters sliding money under the table to these sanctioning bodies to get their fighter title shots and to get fights on their network or under their promotional company as they please. It's all about who got the bag. And we all know that Oscar De La Hoya, he got a bag, Ben had a bag. Oscar De La Hoya had that fight mandated. And why did Oscar have this fight mandated? He had the fight mandated all in the plan for Terence Crawford. See, if the fight is mandated and it looks like that Terence Crawford has no choice but to fight Alexis Rocha, that gives Terence Crawford an excuse in the public's eye. That gives the BPC, the Bud Protection Committee, that gives them something to say, well, Terence Crawford had no choice but to fight Alexis Rocha. If Errol Spence hadn't wanted to fight, he would have stopped it. We know where this is going. But Terence Crawford, he was at Golden Boy Promotions, like we said, before Alexis Rocha ever even had his last fight, which was a fight with a bomb. A guy that had never fought in the U.S. before, a guy that was like 39 years old. You know, they set that fight up for Alexis Rocha to have an opponent that they knew he was going to beat, that he wasn't going to have a problem with, because Alexis Rocha, he's not very good himself. What does Alexis Rocha and all the Terence Crawford opponents have in common? The same thing. They mostly Rudy Poops. You know what I'm saying? He's not fighting no top competition. But see, Terence Crawford was exposed when he was talking that I'm my own boss stuff. If you was your own boss, Terence Crawford, you would have never had to go to Golden Boy Promotions and talk to Oscar De La Hoya wanting the deal. That's what you wanted. You looked at the roster at Golden Boy Promotions. You saw it wasn't really no smoke over there. The only threat at Golden Boy for you is Virgil Ortiz. And Virgil Ortiz is still very young in his career. You looking at Virgil Ortiz as a fight that you can make a lot of money on and that you can have an easy victory. But it might not even turn out like that. Like I said, if you was your own boss, you wouldn't have never had to go to Golden Boy Promotions. What black fighters does Golden Boy promote? Like, come on, let's keep it 100. What black fighters does Golden Boy promote besides Blair Cobb? And who the hell is Blair Cobb? Blair Cobb is pretty much promoting himself. You know what I'm talking about? They wasn't even treating Blair Cobb right over there. You see what happened to Speedy Rashidi Ellis over there? But see, this has been a plan all along for Terence Crawford to do business with Golden Boy. Why do y'all think Oscar De La Hoya stuck his nose in Terence Crawford and Errol Spence's business when he was supposedly had nothing to do with it? when they was going back and forth on Twitter, nobody was in between it but Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. They was having their own back and forth. And who jumps in the conversation with the pom-poms and cheering for Terence Crawford? Oscar did. Oscar and Terence Crawford, they've been talking to each other well before we knew it. Well before we saw Oscar post a picture up with him and Terence Crawford and Bernard Hopkins at Golden Boy Promotions saying that they was working on the deal for Terence Crawford. They had been talking. That's why Oscar felt comfortable jumping in the Twitter argument between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew he had big business coming up with Crawford. That wasn't a coincidence. Crawford knows what he's doing. And the reason, like I said, that they're coming out and they're mandating this fight is because the WBO and Oscar De La Hoya, they have a relationship. You know what I'm saying? From years ago, they have a relationship. Oscar got a bag, and he made sure that this fight was mandated to make Terence Crawford not look like a duck in the public eye. To give Terence Crawford an excuse. Oh, Terence, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll just have the fight mandated. We'll just mandate you and Alexis Rocha, bro. We'll mandate the fight. Don't worry about the fans. Don't worry about the boxing fans. Because Terence Crawford, he's worried about the boxing fans. That's why he's on Twitter going back and forth with fans. Because they calling him out on his BS. They calling him out for being the duck that he is. Hey, if it wasn't true what the fans were saying, he wouldn't have no need to go back and forth with them on Twitter. If it wasn't true what Fanon says about him, what Boxing Ego says about him, he wouldn't have no need to ever mention Fanon and Boxing Ego. But everything that people been saying about Terence Crawford, it hits home because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth. So it bothers him. And they already was calling out his next move before he made it. You know what I'm saying? Only the BPC is shocked that he's going to fight Alexis Rocha, because people that's real boxing fans and that's looking at Terence Crawford and looking at his resume and looking at how he moves in the past, how he always moves. Alexis Rocha and Terence Crawford, it's not a surprise. I've been told y'all this was the guy that he was going to fight next. You know what I'm talking about? He don't want no parts of Errol Spence. He don't want no parts of no Jermell Charlo. He don't want no parts of no tough competition. Because if he wanted a fight with Jermell Charlo or Errol Spence, he wouldn't have been at Golden Boy Promotions trying to make a 3-fight deal with them. Matter of fact, he would have had his lying ass at the PBC headquarters sitting down with Al Heyman trying to make a multi-fight deal with them. Especially after Oscar De La Hoya came out and out of his own mouth, he says, this is the deal we're working on. We're working on the first fight with Alexis Rocha, the second fight with Virgil Ortiz if he gets past Stanionis, and then we'll try to work on getting him an Errol Spence fight somewhere down the line. Now, does that sound like a man that wants a fight with Errol Spence? Does that sound like somebody that wants a fight with Jermell Charlo? You're over there at Golden Boy working on the deal with Alexis Rocha, then Virgil Ortiz, and then somewhere down the line, a fight with Errol Spence, they'll try to get him. He don't want the fight. He went over there so he has another excuse not to have to fight Errol Spence. And what is he gonna do? He gonna put it all on Errol Spence. He gonna put it all on Al Heyman and the PBC. This dude is a fraud. He much rather go through his career having easy fights, being undefeated, and then be able to say, well, I tried to make a fight with Errol Spence, but he didn't want to fight. He never wanted to fight Errol Spence. He told you out of his own mouth, hey, I don't really want this fight. This is a fight that the fans want. Yeah, y'all seen the video? I ain't making this up. He been and told us that he don't want this fight. So this Alexis Rocha mandate, they did that for the public. So Terence Crawford's fan base can have an excuse. So Terence Crawford won't look as bad in the public. It looks like, oh, well, he has to have it. Alexis Rocha was his mandatory. They mandated the fight. Like I said, boxing don't never go by the rules. They rarely go by the rules. If Terence Crawford didn't have no intentions on fighting Alexis Rocha beforehand, this fight would have never got mandated. And Oscar De La Hoya, Alexis Rocha is his fighter. Why is he going around saying that Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world? It's pound for pound the best 147 pounder in the world. And then you want him to come over and beat Alexis Rocha because you're already telling everybody that Terence Crawford is going to beat Alexis Rocha. He's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. You're already telling everybody that Terence Crawford is going to beat Virgil Ortiz. You see what I'm saying? Do y'all see the play was made all along? Why would you say that Terence Crawford is the best 147 pounder in the world when you want Terence Crawford to fight one of the biggest names on your roster in Virgil Ortiz? When you want Terence Crawford to fight Alexis Rocha? Because he already knew that Terence Crawford was going to do business with him. You feel me? This was a play that's been made all along. Once Terence Crawford took that bag from BLK Prime, he knew he wasn't going to do no more business with BLK Prime because he knew he robbed the bank. That $5.5 million that they paid Terence Crawford, yeah, because he didn't get 10 mil. That was another lie. They couldn't afford to do that again. You know what I'm saying? Look at them now. They damn near out of business now because of that. Paying him $5.5 million. Terence Crawford has showed you who he is throughout his whole career. Look at his resume and it speaks for itself. That's why the man always talks about his accolades, because he can't talk about the fighters he beat, because when you ask him who he beat for those titles to get those accolades, you'll see that they mostly Rudy Poots. They not A-level fighters, I'll tell you that. Anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this whole ordeal. Drop a comment in the comment section. The haters, y'all mad again. Bite blood out your bottom lip. But don't forget to hit my like button. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone.